What do we think about aliens and UFOs and other life, intelligent or otherwise, they said, in the ridiculously big cosmos that God came up with? That's a fun question. I honestly have no idea if extraterrestrial life exists. I do think it's possible, but it's kind of problematic for me. There's nothing in the Bible that even hints that aliens exist. That doesn't prove that they don't. Some have questioned what it would mean for the fallen or redeemed state of the aliens if they exist, but I'm not really sure that presents a problem. Angels are in the same type of situation. They're not in the category of humans, and yet they exist, and they just have a different redemptive arc than we do. It's not really a redemptive arc at all, per se. They were given the free will to follow or reject God. A third of the angels, the Bible says in Revelations, rebelled against him, and then it seems those decisions were locked in for them. So they had the free will to choose to follow God, to continue following God, or reject him, and 2/3 followed God and a third didn't. Adam and Eve were given the same opportunity, and they both rejected. Eve was deceived. Adam knowingly chose to disobey, and that was passed on to the rest of the human race. And so, since angels exist outside of the normal human redemption arc, I don't think aliens would be any bigger of a problem for God. It might be a different arrangement we've never thought of before, but it's certainly possible God could have created them. Given what God has revealed to us, though, it doesn't seem likely to me that there are other beings out there. I don't know what the point would be, but then, of course, God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. If he did have other created beings out there, there's no reason he had to tell us about them. That would be his prerogative. And for that matter, if he did create other beings, what would telling us about them accomplish? What would be the point of God saying, hey, by the way, you're not the only one. There are other creatures out there that I've made with consciousness, with free will, and we're running different stuff with them? I don't know. Maybe God is glorified by other beings as well and enjoys interacting with them in a different way, just as he does with the angels. We know we're not the only created beings. So does that mean there's only two categories? It's just us and the angels / demons who were angels? Are those the only categories? Or could there be more that we don't know about? I don't know. So I kind of doubt it personally, but I can't disprove it biblically. One thing I will say, though, if there are aliens out there, if they do exist, it doesn't hurt the Christian faith at all. The idea that a supreme creator that fine-tuned the universe and this planet for life could do it for another planet as well isn't out of the question and doesn't bother me. I do think, though, because part of this question was, what about UFOs? I do think that all the UFO footage that's come out lately, especially from the military sources, is really interesting. And I've looked into it a good amount, actually. I enjoy speculating about whether or not it's actually tech from other countries, or tech from our military, or tech from other planets, or maybe even demonic activity. I don't hear that talked about a lot, but I wonder if it could actually be demonic activity. But let's say that it's not. Let's say that it is some other type of origin, not of a spiritual origin, but a physical origin. One thing I don't hear talked about a lot with the UFO footage or the UFO marks, blips on radars and other signal tech is that maybe it's not actually crazy flying tech, but maybe it's crazy projection tech or signal manipulating tech. Maybe it's not a physics-defying aircraft, but maybe it's some radical sensor technology or projection technology that's designed to confuse and throw off an enemy plane or ship. That, to me, seems way more likely than having aircraft that can move at supersonic speeds and stop on a dime, or suddenly go underwater, or teleport. You know, all the things that supposedly these UFO craft can do, that, you know, the Pentagon has confirmed some of this footage and Navy pilots have confirmed some of these sightings. What if you had transmission technology, signal generating technology that could make it look like a dozen planes were approaching your position? Would that be a valuable asset in a combat situation? Absolutely. And what if you could turn off that switch and it seems like they teleported, and turn it on again with different coordinates and it seems like they just jumped to a different position? And if you bump the machine, it looks like it went underwater accidentally. You know, I don't know. change the shape of the transmission, and now it looks like a different kind of craft. Imagine the potential of that kind of, let's call it mirage tech. It does seem like a lot of these sightings happen near military testing facilities or important military installations that have nuclear missiles or things like that. So oftentimes this has been interpreted as maybe other governments are spying on our military sites. I don't know. The Chinese spy balloons don't seem like super high-tech things. If they're able to send these amazing craft with physics-defying technology over to spy on our sensitive sites, why are we then seeing these slow-moving balloons trying to get better pictures than they could get from satellites? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me. I wonder, it's total speculation, no biblical value to this whatsoever, it's just fun. I wonder if it's actually our government installing and testing defensive technology that messes with sensors, or maybe is even to do some weird projections that can make pilots think there's something there that's not really there. I don't know. Total speculation, super fun to think about.